Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, back here with Ross. Exciting video today. We're going to do a little about Avicanna. Also going to do a little industry portion, kind of the difference between medical and recreational cannabis. So going to be a good video. Hopefully some spice added in. But first things first, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I know we're both dealing with this stay-at-home order, so we'll see what happens. But other than that, looks like January is starting off with a big bang. Things are looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually at the office because as a pharma company, I could go to work, so I'm definitely taking advantage of that.
No, good. Well, I haven't been pulled over or anything yet. Also working at home, but here we go. Um, so really just wanted to do about about the company. If someone asked you, oh, tell me about Avicanna, what would you tell them? And the elevator pitch type mindset.
Well, there's a 30-second version, there's a 20-minute version, so you can pick the time frame you want me to do it in. But let's say 30 seconds, or you want to hear a 2-minute version?
Even if it's a minute or 2 minutes, all good.
Okay, so we started the company in 2015. It's very important how we started. We're a Toronto-based company. We started off as a drug development company focused on cannabinoid-based drugs, medical products that are going to be indication-specific drugs ultimately. We spent the first 3 years developing formulations, doing the research around them, the preclinical work, preparations for really drug submissions. And we realized that within the cannabis realm, there's opportunities to actually register products as medical cannabis, as cosmetics in various markets, as phytotherapeutics. So you don't have to go through just the traditional drug development process. But because of that expertise, when we then go and launch medical products, as we have in Canada, as we have in Latin America, we are providing that pharmaceutical approach to medical cannabis. So essentially, we are more qualified to be selling medical products, and that's what we've done. So today, Avicanna, after 5 years of development and commercialization efforts, we are finally commercial. We're generating revenue in 4 countries. We're selling medical products here in Canada and South America and Colombia. We're selling cosmetics in several markets. So we were taking this pharmaceutical and more advanced proprietary approach to more advanced products that obviously provide higher entry barriers, but for more on the consumer and patient side, we're providing better products, much more advanced products that taste good, perform well, are stable, are accurate, have correct dosing, and we have the expertise to provide also the education and training behind them.
Yeah. Okay. Crushed it. That's a good little minute intro. All right. Curious. I see a ton of questions. People, and we'll get to the types of products. But first, maybe we do what makes Avicanna different than the typical kind of cannabis company.
We're not an LP, like we're not a Canadian LP. I don't have a license. I don't cultivate here in Canada. I have a vertical integration in South America where we are cultivating organically and sustainably. But for us, we treat the cannabis plant as a source material for a finished product. So my finished products are not a bag of weed. My finished products are cosmetics, medical, and pharmaceutical products that happen to have cannabinoids in it. And I think that there's a big misconception, or there's 2 major misconceptions in cannabis. One is all of the benefits of cannabis are done through inhalation, through smoking. And that's not true. Like you can have much more accurate dosing, better solutions from a medical perspective by having more advanced products. And the second misconception is that everyone is in the same industry. Everyone's in cannabis. Just because I'm involved with cannabis and cannabinoids doesn't mean we're in the cannabis industry. Avicanna is in the medical industry, and the pharmaceutical and the cosmetic industry using cannabinoids. So that's really the difference for us. But a typical pharmaceutical company has this drug development process and waits for years until it launches a drug. But we have realized that we have to become self-sufficient. So while we're developing our drugs, we're actually selling medical and cosmetic and other kinds of products as well.
Yeah. Awesome. No, and I think you're already separating the industry, and we're gonna do a little difference coming up. And I think that was fantastic. You're saying there's tons of different products. Obviously, you guys are more focused on the medical and the pharma side. Curious for people that are just finding out about the company for the first time. Do you want to list through maybe some of the products you guys offer, and kind of we'll go over those?
Yeah, so we really have 4 active business models or 4 active commercial models. And one of them, the first one is cosmetics. So we developed, actually I can show you guys some of the products. So we develop these skincare products that are hemp-derived CBD. So, for example, under the Pura brand, and these are cosmetic products that are developed to provide dermatology benefits. So, in the case of skincare, we have an acne gel, we have an eczema cream, we have anti-aging products, and these products are really designed to provide the benefits of CBD in combination with other ingredients. But what's cool about them is they're over the counter. So they're sold in the United States, for example, or in Europe and South America. Because they're hemp derived, they're THC free, they're sold over the counter. So you can walk into some sort of Sephora and buy the skincare product, and we have the data to back that up. What's unique about Pura compared to other CBD skincare line products is that we actually completed clinical trials. We did 3 clinical trials on humans. We finished them in January last year. We're publishing the results, but we're certainly using the benefits, the safety and efficacy results that came out of those studies for marketing purposes today. So that's our consumer product line. Then we have Raw Phyto, which is our medical product line. So as a pharma company, we're certainly more qualified to sell medical products, and we realize the gap in the sector. In adult use for medical cannabis, many of the Canadian LPs were focused on highly intoxicating products, very high THC, and that's it. The dosing wasn't accurate. Everyone's formulations was just MCT oil. So we took that much more sophisticated approach to more complex formulations that are stable, that taste good, that perform better, that are properly dosed, accurately dosed, meaning I know how much cannabinoids is per spray, per drop, per pump. And we provide that as a formulary of medical products initially to the medical community here in Canada through Shoppers Drug Mart. And then we now are launching that across Canada as a wellness and medical product line for the adult use market. And that's a much bigger market. We're talking $3 billion this year. And we're launching what is the more comprehensive CBD and CBD THC formulary across sublingual, oral, capsule, topical formulations. So that's the medical. But of course, those are not indication specific. I can't say that's an epilepsy drug or an anxiety sublingual spray. I cannot make that claim. On the other hand, we have a pharmaceutical pipeline that is designed to be able to make those claims. And we have several drugs that are already developed, finalized, and are going through drug registration. We have other ones that are in clinical development, and those will ultimately be the long-term business model, which is pharmaceutical drugs that are owned, developed, manufactured, and distributed by Avicanna through commercial partnerships within different countries that we're active in.
Awesome. No, that's a great kind of catch-all. You did an awesome job introing them. I'm curious, and I'm sure we'll do videos talking about kind of the go-to-market strategy, marketing, things like that. But I'm curious if you had something you wanted to say about that section. We've seen some questions already, but also kind of about the company, about the products, how you're taking in the market, and just kind of the company strategy, and maybe give people a little bit of a light around there.
Our expertise, Avicanna's strength, is the R&D and intellectual property. So we've done our part. Now we look for partners for the distribution and commercialization. We're still a relatively small company. I can't go into every country and build a cosmetic team and a medical team and a pharmaceutical sales force. So what we do is we actually partner with local companies that are qualified and aligned for those particular business models. As an example, we press released a couple of weeks ago, Ecuador, small country. But in Ecuador, I have 2 partners. I have a company called Spenta, that's my cosmetic distribution partner for Pura. And then I have a company called Alliance Pharma, which is actually the largest pharmaceutical distribution company for drugs. So those companies will be responsible for the sales and distribution. I own the vertical integration, I own the brand, I own the formulation, I own the manufacturing process. But I then outsource the sales and marketing. So we provide the marketing plans, the educational content, the design, all that stuff. But we typically rely on local forces to make that happen. Example, in Canada, I didn't go and buy a licensed producer and control that whole process. I went and did the manufacturing, and then Shoppers Drug Mart is actually doing the medical selling for us. And that's the kind of model I like to replicate elsewhere.
Yeah, no, awesome. And you want to talk about how you find these partners, just a little bit, give people a taste. Obviously, Shoppers Drug Mart is a name everyone's familiar with in Canada for sure. Do you want to talk about kind of just that process? Obviously, it's not just let me shoot a guy a message on LinkedIn. Do you want to kind of talk through that a little bit?
I mean, so I think it's important to note that very few companies, like with the exception of the GW Pharmas in the world, actually spent the years to do the R&D and the clinical work like we have. So because of the credibility we have in Canada specifically with, collaborations with UHN, University of Toronto. We're part of a Johnson & Johnson incubator called J Labs. We have that sort of credibility. People know that we have more advanced products. They know that we take the science and the medicine more seriously. So the Shoppers Drug Mart thing worked actually through our network because they knew the research that we were doing. They were looking for that level of quality, consistency, stability that they weren't getting from the adult use customers. And the reality behind that is because a pharmaceutical company has a different focus, has a different ethos, has a different DNA. Yeah. Our focus is consistency, quality, and controls, where an adult use, manufacturer wants to produce products that they're going to sell, and they don't really care about the rest. Naturally, there's different DNA, and that's why Shoppers, for example, had chosen us. Now, when we look for a partner, typically we actually try to stay away from cannabis companies. We look for established pharmaceutical distribution companies and pharmacy chains that for them, they already know how to do the part where you give them the product, you give them the education, they go and they do it. And so we don't have to second guess that. We look for companies that have the sales force, the infrastructure, the distribution, right? Rather than a cannabis company, a guy calls you and goes, hey, thinking about doing a startup, can I sell your products? That guy's probably not getting an answer, right? That's just the reality.
No, makes sense. Hey, some good insight, and I'm sure we can do bigger videos about this. And I'm glad we were able to kind of tease it. And if anyone has any questions, we can definitely do bigger videos because, hey, at the end of the day, you guys are trying to make money, which means you have to sell products. I'd love to talk people through kind of the process of how you guys are selling products.